So when you join me, please say hello in the comments. I am here today to answer your questions. So feel free to put your questions in the comments. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Gunilla. Hello, Ayman Mansour. How are you? I'm really delighted to be with everyone today. And this is my weekly live lesson for Amy Carrier's Classroom. So I am taking a moment to share this on the classroom page, in the classroom group. I'm sure everybody knows that Facebook has become a little bit more complex. So we have our classroom in a couple of pages, which is great, in a couple of places, excuse me. And so I'm sharing this in the group, and we also have a page now, which I encourage everyone to go to and like. It's Amy Carrier's Classroom page. And the reason that exists is because it turns out that one of the weekly instructors here in Amy Carrier's Classroom, because he's teaching broadcasting, video broadcasting, and teaching you how to do it, he can actually only do it on the page, not in the classroom, because there are limitations with the classroom. I'm trying to keep it straight. That's Leland that I'm talking about. So make sure that you go ahead and like the page. Don't just follow, because if you follow, you don't get notifications. You have to actually like. And on Sunday, so yesterday's lesson was by Alex Bertlund from Sweden talking about cryptocurrency, and he also broadcast on the Amy Carrier's Classroom page rather than in the group, because he was using a new and different software as well. So we are learning as we go and inviting everyone to come join us in both of the places where we exist. AmyCarriersClassroom.com is our website, and if you just go to that website, it will take you directly to the Facebook Classroom. And make sure you request to join the classroom. And in order to become a class member, to participate, get notifications, be part of what we're doing, you must have a profile photo of yourself. Your name must be written in English, and you need to answer the 3 required questions in order to be accepted. So be sure you please go ahead and do that. And I am Amy Carrier. I founded Amy Carrier's Classroom about 6 months ago because, to me, what's most important is that everyone in the world has access to a place to learn the skills that are required to be an employee, a player in the landscape of life. So we're talking about working in the global workforce, selling your services, your products online through a website or through, a site like Fiverr. So we have right now, there are 9 of us who are instructors in Amy Carrier's Classroom, and I'm working on several more in 2018, and everyone teaches for free. That was totally important to me. When I was building classrooms in schools here in the United States, it was important to me to engage community members, to give just a little bit of their time for free as volunteers to teach the students in my schools. And now, here we are. I'm teaching you online, and I have personally asked the mentor teachers in Amy Carrier's Classroom to come in and teach you for free. So I'm asking them for an hour a week of their time. So I think most of you probably know a little bit about Amy Carrier's Classroom, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And thank you to everyone who's here. So let me just take a look. Alex is here. Alex is the classroom mentor teacher I just told you about, who broadcasts on Amy Carrier's Classroom page yesterday. Hey, Jeffrey Foote, how are you? Guys, I love the thumbs up and the hearts, but there's no need for the angry faces or the sad faces. There's just no need, because they go across my screen. Nobody here needs to be angry or sad. If you have questions that I can help you with, you can absolutely ask them. So we have Shamil Shah, Bill Box, Hamad Masood Inayat, hello, how are you? Kuram, how are you? You and I have to talk about coming into the classroom too. Shamil Shah. So, and Tabitha, hey, Tabitha, and Umar Farouk Mufti is here. Yay! Happy New Year, everyone. So today at this time is my weekly live lesson in my classroom. And what I decided to do for today's weekly lesson is to give you all the opportunity to do two things. Number one is talk with me about setting your goals for 2018. How do you do it? I don't even know what my goals are. Let's talk about that. And then number two is to just ask me the general questions that you have. Now, I receive so many messages through Facebook Messenger and every other platform I'm on. I can't possibly respond to them all. Nobody should take this personally. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that there are only 24 hours in my day, just like your day. And I want to be able to respond to everyone. So if you are one of the people who sent me a question and I just write back, please ask this question in the classroom. That's because I've literally created Amy Carrier's Classroom so that you can get access to me and people who I trust and respect to also answer your questions. And unfortunately, it's really up to you. Most people who write to me don't take advantage of this. It makes me sad because this is where I'm focusing my time in Amy Carrier's Classroom, and I focus so much time to find you the right mentor teachers, to organize everything, to set it up. And this is also my volunteer work. So you can honor my time, my huge volunteer effort in the world, by asking questions actively through posts in Amy Carrier's Classroom, but you must be a member in order to do that. And right now we have almost 100 people who are sitting in pending members. That is because they haven't answered questions. So you will not be approved until you actually go back and click on your request and answer the 3 questions. If the 3 questions don't come up, cancel your request, ask again. So, hello, Zephron Chechi, how are you? Barbara Lacurdo! Oh my gosh, Barbara, how are you? Barbara and I used to work together in the school system like a million years ago. Corey Farbman is here. Corey and I grew up together like a mile away from each other. Heather Hudson. Hi, Heather. How are you? Fauzi is here. Alrighty. So I have some general pieces of advice, some encouragement, some upliftment, which this is what I do. So I have that for you today, and I think that's how I'm going to actually start out today. And then I would like to be available to answer your questions. And I will be here for an hour as long as you're asking me questions. And I think the first thing I want to say is that all you need is one drop of courage to do anything. And that includes asking me questions. So now is your opportunity. I've made myself available, and I want to be able to help you solve your challenges, to help you figure out that one thing that's holding you back from taking the next step. So let's talk, okay? So Jeannie Mejia's here. Jeannie was one of my classroom students. Hi, Jeannie, how are you? Let's see. I do not speak another language other than English in my classroom because we have members in this classroom from 79 different countries. So that means that English is our common language in the classroom, and all of your teachers, even if they're from other countries, they are also speaking only English. This is the universal language, and this is also a safe place for you to practice speaking your English. So practice. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher my whole life. So if you have that 1 ounce of courage to ask your question in the comments here, I will figure out with you what it is that you're asking if you're practicing English, and I will answer your question. So let me tell you my little snippets of advice to begin. And number 1 is, I already said it, it's that one drop of courage. And as long as you take that, the sun is kind of shining right in my window. There we go. As long as you take that one drop of courage, just to take that one step forward, you will have everything that you need to be brave enough in this moment, because that's the only moment that exists, is this one. So be brave in this moment to ask your question, to take that step, to do something you don't think that you can do or you didn't think that you can do. And then that will open up doors, that will open up more steps before you. And you will have that memory of courage from doing that thing for yourself. And I would like to invite you all to use that drop of courage today to ask me a question. Just ask it here in the comments. This is a day where I have decided not to come to my weekly live lesson with a lesson to teach you beyond having the courage in one small moment to ask your question. Pankaj Chauhan, good morning. Nice to see you. Corey says, nice to see you. How are you? Oh, nice to see you putting yourself out there to help anyone with questions. Thank you, Corey. Yes, that's what I do. Good morning, Mom. My mom just popped in here. So, and here are a couple of my other points, and they might actually help you to have some of the courage and ask the questions you may have to ask. I did a live video on New Year's Day talking about the energy of this year, and the energy of 2018 is very, very different. As we've already seen happening everywhere in the world, everything is changing. So it's important for everyone to learn how to go with the flow and also how to course correct, also how to change your mind, do something differently. Because in every new moment, we learn something new. And with that new information, we need to become a wiser person to make a wiser decision. I hope that makes sense. So on New Year's Day, when I did that live broadcast about the energy and what I see coming in 2018, Kashi Khan asked the question, how do I overcome procrastination? And that's oh my gosh, that's an incredible question, because everyone here has experienced procrastination at some point. And my answer to Kashi was, you will procrastinate on anything that is not what you're meant to be doing. So I'm not going to go into the answer to that question. You can go back and watch my live video from Monday. It's on my personal page. It went viral. It has over 5,000 views, and people really benefited from hearing what I had to say, and that's wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's not why I'm telling you. I'm telling you because this was my message to anyone who is interested in talking to me or hearing from me. This was my message to help you get through 2018. So I encourage you to go back and watch that video. It's only 17 minutes long. It's available. I just posted it again yesterday on my personal profile, which is my Amy Carrier page. So feel free to watch that. It's a great video. I've actually gone back and watched it a couple times, because when I get these messages, these intuition messages, I'm not in my brain about it. I'm in my intuition, which comes from my heart. So the messages are to me also. So I have to go back and hear them again. So the other message I want to give you is, please be willing to accept help and know that this is the year of partnerships. This is when new partnerships, new forms of engagement, new teams are going to enter your life. And any partnership, any team, even a job that you're not meant to be in is going to end this year, because the thing that you are meant to be involved in is going to begin, which is a really wonderful thing. And my last little note for you is that it's time to let go. This is the biggest note, because the messages I received that I can't possibly respond to last night said we're asking, asking for help, but people aren't willing to actually then take the help, take the advice. And you have to be willing to let go of the reasons you have, the things that are holding you back from taking the help, from receiving what is offered to you. You don't have to do it exactly that way, but you have to be willing to take a step. That's my cat. Do you guys remember my cat? He's meowing and he wants to come in. So hold on one second. Come here, monkey. Come on. Okay. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Drunken Eagle says, life is uncontrollable. No chance to control or manage it anyway. Hey guys, remember I asked, please don't put the sad faces or the angry faces. I will cheer you with hearts and thumbs up and smiles and laughs. I would not put an angry face on your screen. So thank you for not putting them on my screen. So Motion Con, what is the topic? It's getting you set up for success in 2018, my friend. I am here to answer your questions and give you guidance. So, Drunken Eagle, you don't have a question. Motion Con, I just answered your question. I don't see any questions. Oh, wait, let me scroll. Fauzia, goals are the targets that are borderline for you to achieve in a limited time period. This is I think I hear what you're saying, Fauzia, and I want to respond to that because you have to be willing to let go of time period. Most of the time, you have to let go of time period. And that's because in my culture, in my belief, there's something called divine timing. If you understand what I mean by divine timing, please give me a thumbs up or a heart, because this idea that we can dictate the exact time when something's going to happen, you have to let go of that to some degree. Now, on the other side of that, you also have to set goals and achieve these small goals. Achieve the goal that is a step that you can take right now toward your bigger goal. So if you set a goal for yourself, you know, I'm going to be making $1 million this year. You guys hear my cat? Mulligan, come here. He meows like crazy. He sounds like something other than a cat, but that is my cat. Set your goals. Take the small bites rather than saying, I have to make $1 million this year. Or rather than saying, I have to build my company and we have to get $10 million of funding this first quarter, and we need to be having this level of impact by this amount of time. You have to do that to some degree, but the thing that I'm teaching everyone today is to get started. And to get started, that means take one step right in front of you today. If you can achieve that one small goal that's in front of you, and just make it, the time period is today, okay? If you can do that today, then you have already succeeded. You have already achieved the greatest goal. So stop putting things out in the future that ultimately end up feeling like they're weighting you down, they're intimidating you, they're frightening you. Just take the steps that you can take today and trust that as soon as that step is taken, the next one will open. And then after that, the next one will open. And I will go back to teaching about, you know, writing your business plan and things like that, which you need to do. But you also need to understand that there's more to this, and everything starts inside. Hi. Do you want to come talk to the world? Is that what's going on? Okay. He's already famous around the world. This is Monkey. Say hi, Monkey. This is the guy making all the noise from the other side of the door. But he's fine. He just doesn't like being alone. So you might see the big fluffy tail wag in front of the camera. Yes. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Yes, Gay, you heard a cat. That's true. So, okay, Drunken Eagle's back. This is a question. Life is uncontrollable. No chance to control, manage, so can just try. That's not a question, my friend. What to plan for? What if human has no control? You have no control over the future. Congratulations! Yay! Once all of us realize that we have no control over the future, we only have control over right now. And that simple change in your understanding will change everything in your life. So stop worrying about the future. And I'm not saying this because it's an easy thing to do necessarily, but it is the most important thing for you to do, because now he's pushing the back of the laptop, so the screen might wiggle. If you can have control and do the right thing for yourself, for your work, for your project, for your business, for your friends, for your child, if you can do it in this moment, okay, that moment's gone, in this moment, then you will be guided. You will be doing what you need to do. And remember, in the beginning of the video, I said, be open to change. Be willing to course correct. Be willing to respond to new and different information that's coming your way. And so the reason I didn't start 2018 with a lesson about writing your business plan or building a team or anything else connected to all of the themes in Amy Carrier's classroom is because what I have witnessed in this classroom over the last 6 months is that the biggest problem is people lack the confidence. They lack the courage to take just the first step. So most people, and this is in my classroom, this is anywhere I've ever taught in the world, this is with my friends, this is with most humans, because this is part of the human condition. We grew up in a world where we learned to somehow believe that we needed someone else's permission. And I'm here to tell you right now that you are never going to receive anyone's permission to do anything. You have to be the person who gives yourself permission. And the reason I'm saying this to you right now is, as long as you have the courage in this moment to take this step right now, then you've already succeeded. You've achieved your dream. And then another moment appears before you, and then you do the same thing in that moment. I hope this makes sense to you guys. Now, I have to go over here to my iPad because the comments do not scroll. Let's see. The comments just don't scroll when I'm broadcasting live, so I'm losing a lot of, I think, what you guys are asking me in the moment. And please don't scroll when I'm broadcasting live. Please forgive this. It's taking a little time. I keep trying to figure this out. I would like Facebook to make it a little easier, but it's not. So, all right, what do we have for questions? Rashid Ali says it's a good step. Yeah, Rashid, have you done that before? Have you said, okay, I'm either procrastinating or I'm too scared to take this step? Have you just looked at this moment? What is this one thing you can do right now in this moment? Have you been able to do that, Rashid? I'd love to see in the comments. It's really tricky to see all your comments, and I want to see all your comments. So, what else do we have here? Ibrahim Nazir said, bring your cat on camera. I did. I hope you saw that. Fauzia says, welcome to the sweet kitty. All right. Taqwa, is Taqwa here? I see Fauzia said hello. That's good. So Motion Khan says, how do you come up with plan B if plan A does not work out? Well, Motion, I think I need you to tell me more, because what you just said is just the theory. So I need some more detail. How do you come up with plan B? If you are a person who has plans, then you just write a different plan. So you have to give me a little more information, because I can't really answer that question. And Fauzia says, how much importance of checking out the available resources in setting the goals? Oh, Fausia, that's a great question. So here's the thing. Every single person who is alive on this planet today is here to solve a problem that hasn't been solved before. And what you have to keep yourself from doing is looking for someone else's permission. No one's going to give you permission. You have to give it to yourself. And you also can't have the fear that there are no resources, or there's no research on this thing, or there's nobody else talking about it. If that's the case, it's because that's exactly where you need to be, working on that problem. You are the person who's meant to be there first. Now I have cat fur on my face. You are meant to be the forerunner, the pioneer, the change maker, the leader. So don't look for someone else already doing it and then say, okay, as long as someone else is doing it, then I'm going to do it. Be the voice of change. When I set up Amy Carrier's classroom, I was getting tired in my life of challenging roadblocks and systems that weren't understanding the value of what I was teaching. And I'm a teacher, so I just wanted to be teaching what I know how to teach. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I want to teach it to everyone in the world. Now I'm one person living in one place on the planet, and I only have 24 hours in the day. So how can I do that? And the idea was, let's do it here on Facebook, where there are 2 billion humans who tune in some capacity on Facebook. Great, I'll do it there. And now here we are as a classroom. And I knew, how interesting is a classroom where there's only one teacher teaching 1 hour a week? It's not interesting at all. So now you have 9 teachers teaching 9 different times a week for 1 hour. You also have PJ, who's going to be teaching a few different times during the week, randomly. And then I have at least a half dozen more people I've been talking with. And if you're watching this, if you're one of those potential mentor teachers, thank you for your patience. I have so much going on. I will eventually get to you, and thank you for just writing back to me to remind me, or to bring that conversation up to the top of my inbox. So I hope that answers your question, Fausia. You are meant to do it, whether there are resources or not. I get paid nothing, and I spend 40 hours a week at least running Amy Carrier's classroom. So if I'm willing to do this for free myself, because I know it's the right thing to do, because I know it's going to help people, and because I know it will evolve into something that will eventually pay me, then I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing, in my mind and my heart, I'm doing God's work, because it's making a difference, because it makes me feel like I've done good today, every day when I go to bed. All right, so let's see. Hashim Khan says, how to stay focused on a goal. Hashim, I encourage you to go back and watch the live video I did on Monday that's on my personal page. And if somebody can grab that from my personal page and put it in the comments, that would be helpful, because my answer for you is the same as it was for Kashi Khan on Monday. And that was, if you are working on something you're meant to do. And how do you know that? You know that because you're excited to work on it every single day. Like Amy Carrier's classroom, I just told you, it pays me nothing. I work a full-time job just on this project. Why do I do it? I do it because it fills my heart, because it feels like something I need to do. And because every time I've asked a mentor teacher to come in, and we've now, I've had probably a dozen. A few had to leave because of either pregnancy, or they got a new contract with their company and they can't afford to spend any time in the classroom for the next few months. Those are the only reasons that the mentor teachers have left. Otherwise, everybody else has stayed, because they also know that this is the right thing to do and it's valuable to them. So that's my example. And this is not how I pay my bills. I still have other full-time jobs that I have to work to get my paychecks in order to pay my bills. And that work, for the most part, it's what I know how to do. It's me doing, I like to call it doing my obvious. I'm doing what to me is just the easiest thing in the world. I'm teaching other people the things that I know. So if you are having a hard time reaching your goal for your own reasons of procrastination, you're not really interested, then you have to really ask yourself the bigger question, should I be doing this? If there are other reasons which you didn't clarify in your question why you can't reach your goal, then you can just ask a different question here. All right. I encourage all of you to not just put a comment and say you are not replying to me. There are lots and lots of comments. If your question wasn't answered, then you can add it to the bottom of the comments again. I probably missed it. And I also encourage you all to change your attitude and to take nothing personally, because nothing is ever about you personally. So for me right now, I have one hand that I can use on all of my technology. I am doing my very best to scroll through the comments and give you my guidance and my advice. So to the person who just said, I'm not responding to your comments, I didn't see your comment or your question, and I'm not going to scroll back up and look for it, because I'm focused now on helping the people who are here and who are graciously accepting the teaching, the time that I'm sharing with you. And those people are asking questions, and I'm happy to answer those questions. So, Fauzia, great. I'm glad you liked that answer. So Kabir Nawaz says, how to come up with plan B if plan A. So my friend, I think I already tried to answer that question. Maybe I just reread it, but I need more information. You can just write a different plan if that's what you're talking about. Rana Arslan says, is goal have too much importance for success? Rana, I think I understand your question, but I'd like you to rephrase it if you would, please. So, do goals have too much importance for success? The way I'm going to translate this question for myself and for our audience here, goals cannot be the way you define your success, because once you achieve a goal, it's gone. Most people in their consciousness, if they're focused on achieving goals, by the time they achieve that goal, there's no satisfaction, there's no joy, because they're already thinking about the next goal. So your idea of success really needs to be more defined by you. And when I say that, I mean you as who you are. So what is success for you? Is it a feeling of joy? Is it having a positive impact on someone else? Is it teaching a young person how to do what you know how to do really well? In my opinion, that is success. So Amy Carrier's classroom is almost at 5,000 members, and I never set that goal. But I get more excited by the fact that these big numbers are just happening in Amy Carrier's classroom, because I'm living in the moment with them. I'm delighted that this classroom has grown the way that it has, not because I ever set out for that goal. Now, let me clarify one thing. You've probably heard me and the other mentor teachers talking about our really big goal of 100,000 students in Amy Carrier's classroom in 2018. Now, if that happens, that's amazing. Why? Because it's more people who I will feel I have been a part of giving them access to free lessons and free information around the world. And so will my mentor teachers. If it doesn't happen, I'm also going to be fine, because it's an arbitrary goal. It doesn't define me. It doesn't define success. It doesn't define anything. It's just a number. And numbers sometimes help us to know which direction to go. So when it comes to increasing the numbers of members in Amy Carrier's classroom, I do almost no recruitment. Actually, I do no recruitment. I'm just thinking about this. I've never done any recruitment anywhere. I've never paid to promote the classroom. The only hesitation that I had in describing that to you is because I have someone who's going to start helping me in the new year, and her work will be focused on how can we bring more people into this classroom. So up until this point, I've achieved this goal that I never had of 5,000 students just because the classroom exists, just because I took that first step. And I took the first step because for my own reason, because I wanted to be able to teach people around the world, whether they had access to me in person or not. So that first goal was just about me. Now, I'm not telling you to be self-centered and to be egotistical about this. I needed to have a place where I could volunteer, where I could do it from the comfort of my home, and where I could just chunk out that time of my day and just put it in my calendar, and then it's done. Now, my original goal and my original thought was I'll just do this for a few hours a week and go live for 1 hour a week. But as I told you, it's a full-time job at this point, and it's exciting and I love it, even though it pays me nothing. So I hope that answered your question. Malik Muhammad Nasim Awan says, what is time management and how I have set priority work? So many times I was failed on your plan, on my job. So Malik, I hope you've been listening to this whole class, because this is what I've been talking about. If you are doing something that you are not excited to do, you're going to let yourself down with your plan, with your schedule. Now, I will tell you, the smartest thing you will ever do is use a smartphone, to use your calendar app to organize your time. You have to somehow set up in your 24 hours the chunks of time where you can work on the things that you know you need to do. And if you're able to understand the value of that calculator, it has a reminder you can set, and it just pops up and it just says, Amy, okay, this is the time where you need to do this. This is the time for this phone call or to work on this document. Then it just becomes that these are tiny little steps in a bigger process, in a bigger goal you may have, or in a bigger dream you may have. But if you're not actually figuring out how to take those little steps, I think, Malik, this is what may be happening. You're saying that you failed on your plan, but you can't fail on your plan. You can only fail on the steps along the journey of your plan. So your plan isn't gone. You can still have your plan or your dream or whatever. Nothing has failed. The time of when you might have achieved this may have changed. And again, that might be divine timing. There might be a reason for that. So, Iftikhar Ahmad says, great job, inspiring. Thank you, sir. Oh, Leila is here. Layla, I'm sorry, Layla. Layla, I'm waiting for you to find some time in your little calendar to come back into the classroom. Matt Adams, hi, how are you? Fazia just posted a link. It looks like that's the link from my page to my Monday live broadcast on New Year's Day. So what other questions do we have here? Shoa Braza, hello, how are you? Welcome. Farhan Ali Khan sent me a smiley face. Okay, I don't see any more questions. We do have a little bit more time. Like I said, I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm going to scroll up now. Is Takwa still here? Okay, the top comment I can see is Motion Khan says, how to come up with plan B. Okay, so I am limited in the comments I can see. So if I have not answered your question, please go ahead and put it in the comments again, because I can't scroll up any further. So, okay, Malik says, thanks a lot. Sure, I will follow your great advice. Good. I hope it helps. And please come back into Amy Carrier's classroom and ask us more questions. You can see an example yesterday. One of my own former classroom students, I taught her when she went to the high school where I taught. She popped up yesterday in the classroom and asked a question, and 3 different mentor teachers just kind of came in and started helping her to problem solve. She wants to open a new business. And it was incredible. So there are people who are here to help you, but you need to have that one drop of courage to actually ask your question. Okay, so this is the time that you have access to me, that I'm happy to answer your questions. So I welcome you again. If I don't have any more questions, I might just sign off a little bit early. Let's see. So Shah Braza says, Madam, please, if you don't mind, can you tell me how old you are? I don't think that that's really relevant in my classroom. It's not going to teach anyone anything to know how old I am. So, Layla, I love to listen to you too. I really miss having our talks. So I am really eager to get you into the mentor team so that we can get you on here regularly. Karam, okay, Fauzia says, Karam, so when you had the chance, this is interesting. This looks like I might have missed a comment. Karam Ziberi, so when you had the chance to forgive someone and you made that your New Year's resolution, were you able to do it? If you were, then how did you convince yourself that you should? That's interesting. Hey, Pete Morrow. Hey, Lee Page. Please, madam, show up. I'm not talking about my age on this program today. Why? Because like you, I am eternal. We live forever. And I'm as old as I am in my mind, and I guess I'm as old as I am in your mind, or as young. That's up to you. So, okay, Fauzia says, Kuram is asking. Fauzia, can you copy his question? It sounds like Kuram made it his New Year's resolution to forgive someone. How do you convince yourself to forgive someone? That's interesting. I think that the action that you can take, that's my cat. The action that you can take in forgiving someone is actually letting it go. Whether you let the person go, the situation, the circumstance, the behaviors, the memories, whatever you can actively let go, that's for you. And there's actually a really beautiful practice that I'll tell you about that I love. It's changed my life. It's called Ho'oponopono, and it is an ancient Hawaiian tradition of forgiveness. And you can Google it. You can look it up. I'll spell it if anybody wants to put it in the comments. It's Ho apostrophe, so Ho apostrophe Oponono. And you can also just try your very best to spell it in Google and say ancient Hawaiian practice of forgiveness. It will come up. And this practice of forgiveness involves 4 of the simplest lines you can possibly imagine. You can think about your relationship to that person that you want to forgive, and you recite these 4 things over and over until you find peace within yourself. And these 4 statements that you recite for yourself are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now, it doesn't matter if you focus on the other person, if you focus on yourself, if you focus on yourself for trusting that other person, it doesn't matter. The exercise itself is so powerful. It's so healing. These are 4 of the most sacred and beautiful statements that we can make to anyone, including ourselves. Oh, look who's back. So let's see, what else do we have here? Shohab Raza, I'm not angry with you. I'm just not going to talk about my age. And I don't think you heard me, my friend. I am as old to you as you want me to be. It doesn't matter what you think about me. It doesn't matter. I did a lesson a long time ago where I told you all to remember that anyone else's opinion of you is none of your business. So it doesn't matter to me, Shoaib, if you think I'm 21 or 75. It doesn't matter. That's my business. I don't know why you're asking. It has nothing to do with what I'm here to talk about today. So let's see. Any more questions? Okay, Shoaib, you love me too much. Fauzia. Okay, so Fauzia likes my answer to Kuram's question. Has anyone here, let me just see some yeses in the comments. Has anyone here ever heard of Ho'oponopono? This Chinese tradition of forgiveness and letting go. I love it. It's changed my life. If there's something that is difficult for me or frustrating me or upsetting me, I literally put my left hand, because it's the hand that's closest to my heart, I put it on my heart center, my fourth chakra, and I recite Ho'oponopono to myself, either out loud or in my heart or in my mind, it doesn't matter. And I say it until I'm feeling calm and centered and at peace again. So, do we have any other questions I can answer? I don't see any other questions. So, how do you get, okay, me and Rehan says, how to get back on track when you're struck and disturbed. Do you mean stuck and disturbed? So you're not off track, you're just on pause. So you need to figure out what's keeping you stuck or disturbed, and you need to work on that. I mean, this is actually one of the gifts of life, that when we are bogged down, either when we're sick or when we're, upset, or when we're mourning the loss of a loved one, everything outside stops. It has to stop, because we are not in the right mind. We are not in the right space to be focused on our work. And I've learned this myself, because I grew up thinking and spent most of my professional career until a few years ago really believing I had to work, and never stop. Nothing should stop me, even as I lost my mobility, even as I lost the use of my hands. I wouldn't let these things stop me until I finally realized, okay, there's a reason that these things are happening. And I need to stop, or I needed to get stuck in order to really understand the lesson that I was being asked to learn. And then that is when the path started to open for me again, and the doors started to open, and things started to work. So if you're stuck right now, you need to do the deeper work of asking yourself why. And then once you have some answers, work with those answers to try and problem solve. I hope that answers your question. Iftikhar Ahmad says, learn to light a candle in the darkest moments of someone's life. Yes. Be the light that helps others see. It is what gives life its deepest significance. It is my first time to listen to you. Oh, thank you so much. I can't actually see the rest of your comment because it's cut off, because it's so long. But thank you. And Iftikhar Ahmad, if you're not already a member of my classroom, I encourage you to join. I welcome you to join, my friend. Okay, Shobi. Hi, Shobi. Shobi, don't worry how old I am. Do you want me to ask you how old you are? Would that make you feel better? If you can, if you want, you can put it in the comments. That way everybody can see. And look, I have been asked how old I am and other personal questions for so many years by so many people. And I always just reflect it back. Why do you want to know that? It has nothing to do with you. And you can decide in your own mind. What if I tell you I'm 55? Are you going to say, I don't believe her? I don't believe her. So then what good does my answer do? Or if I say I'm 25, what if you say, she looks too old to be 25, so I don't believe her? Then what is the point? What is the point? Okay. I think it's just curiosity, and I think as humans by nature we're curious, and that's fine. So uh, Layla says, I saw Oprah's speech at the Golden Globes, and I remembered you so much, Layla. Oh my God, you're so sweet. So here's the thing. I just told you guys not to take personally anything anyone else says. But here's the thing. We are all human, and I feel very deeply, extremely deeply, both love and joy, and then pain and, loss and all of that. But I've had to learn how to not take things personally when other people say them. But Layla is a friend of mine. And what I'm pointing out to you here, the lesson I'm pointing out, is for you to absorb as much love as you possibly can from the people you love and admire, the people you respect, because that is genuine love for you. That is something that is yours to receive. And I know some people say that they love me, they admire me, but they don't know me or I don't know them. I'm not saying I don't appreciate that. I do. I'm really amazed by the number of kind messages I get from total strangers. It's amazing to me. But what I'm saying to you is don't make your whole life and your whole sense of self dependent on what other people say about you. You have to be so firmly secure with who you are, and you have to believe in yourself. And this is one of the things that has become the central theme that I am teaching about in Amy Carrier's classroom, because this is the thing in my 5,000 students that I'm seeing missing across the board. There's just a lack of self-confidence and self-love, and I get that. I've been there. So I want to teach what I have learned. And that self-confidence and that self-love is what you will absolutely need to be successful. So that's why I'm committed to teach it. I have other amazing teachers who are teaching how to start your business and teaching about cryptocurrency and how to start a freelancing and consulting business and how to change your mindset and think like an entrepreneur. I love my mentor teacher team. It's really amazing. What you guys should know behind the scenes is we're seriously like this really tight-knit, sweet little family. We talk to each other every day. I'm not kidding. And we're all over the world, and none of us have ever met. But what I'm saying to you is that you have to find that sense of trust and belief in yourself and confidence in yourself first. And then absorb the compliments and the comments that come from the people that you know and respect when they are positive. The other ones have nothing to do with you. I mean, even though Layla just said that lovely thing, she thought about me watching Oprah. Oh my gosh, talk about a compliment. It's not going to change my life. It just makes me feel good in this moment. It makes me feel seen and supported by someone I also see and admire. But don't let people take you down, because people are, when they are lashing out and hurting you, those people are only showing you who they are. Which the mini lesson I just gave you about not answering about my age is that it doesn't matter. I mean, I've said my name before, or my age before, I'll probably say it again. It's not that hard to figure out. I'm older than most people think, which is kind of cool. Good for me, for genetics, and I age well, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I want you all to just think about what you're doing to work on your own sense of self-confidence and your belief in yourself. So, Layla says, great, we definitely must love and respect ourselves first. Yes, absolutely, my friend. Hi, Muntazir Abbas, how are you? Welcome. Tabitha Santana is one of my former students, and she said, do you still engage with local youth to achieve their goals? I do. Tabitha, do you know about, I mean, it's been too long since I've been there, but I created, as a volunteer, again, I created this program with Level Ground, the mixed martial arts organization founded by my friend Alexandra Fuller, Allie Fuller. And I wanted to, and I worked with the students who participate in that program for several months to help them learn how to blog so that they could communicate their voices, so they could tell the world their truths. So that's one of the ways I do it. I also still interact with several of my own former students. But yeah, Tabitha. And I was asked recently, I mean, unfortunately, there wasn't enough timing. One of my own former students is now working for the YMCA, and she asked me to come talk to the summer program, but my schedule was already full that week. So Tabitha, I'm kind of curious. Do you have some kiddos you want me to talk to? All right. Motion Con, hello, how are you? Fauzia says, should we have a plan or sketch the roadmap to achieve a goal before we set the goal? So what you're talking about is setting goals, which that's long term, and then setting benchmarks. And benchmarks are just your nearer term, shorter term goals. Those are the ones that we can wrap our heads around and we can do today. So what is a goal you can achieve today? You can also call it a benchmark. You can set up your larger plan and you can have that long-term goal a year from now. But you have to have the smaller goals that you can achieve right now. And some days, the goal you might achieve is just waking up and making one phone call and responding to 2 emails. That might be it. But that day, you might have pushed yourself to do more than you would have done otherwise if you just did those 2 or 3 really tiny things. Those are still goals. Even though they're in the present term, even though they're tiny and they seem insignificant, an email or a phone call might be the catalyst to change everything for you. So don't put more emphasis or importance on the long-term goal than you do on the goal that you can achieve right now in this moment. I hope that answers your question, Fauzia. Can you tell I like to talk with my hands? My mother always points out when she watches my videos after the fact that I talk with my hands. And I said, yeah, this is never going to change. So Motion Khan says he wants to start a business with me. I don't start businesses with people, my friends, but you can start in my classroom. You will get all sorts of amazing things if you engage in my classroom. So if you're not already a member, join right now and you never know what's going to happen. Like I said earlier, 3 of my mentor teachers just zoomed right in to help one person who asked one question yesterday about starting her business. And I already know that one of those mentor teachers has already figured out how to do so many different things with her and for her. Now, she has to have the courage to say yes to this. But don't just say you want to start a business with me. Come into what I've built because I know that this is how we're changing the world. I don't do anything behind the scenes for anyone. If there's anybody watching who has sent me a message and said, ma'am, can I have 15 minutes of your time? I either don't answer or I direct you to my classroom. It's why I've started my classroom. I am connected to or followed by 40,000 people on social media. How in the world, with me doing my full-time jobs and my full-time job volunteering running this classroom, how in the world in my 24 hours where I still insist on having time for myself can I possibly be there to respond to everybody who wants my time and my help? I can't. So take advantage of the things that I do put out there to help you because you never know what you're actually going to get out of it. And that might be the note that I end upon. Let's see, what time is it? Yep, I'm ending right now. It's 2:02 p.m. So the note that I'm going to end on, hey, Daisha, how are you? So Miraj Ahmad says, how do I enroll in your classroom? It's very, very easy, my friend. You go to amycarriersclassroom.com. That will take you directly to our group here on Facebook. And you must have a profile photo. You must have your name written in English. Those are the first 2 things. And the third thing, let's put up 3 fingers. The third thing is that you must answer the 3 required questions. Otherwise, you just go into this holding tank of people who want to join but aren't accepted, aren't approved because they haven't answered questions yet. And so far, that's like 100 people who are just waiting. So don't be one of those people. Answer the questions. And once you're in the classroom, you will be welcomed. Read the pinned post at the top of the classroom page so that you understand how the classroom works. And there are live mentor lessons taught 7 days a week. Actually, Saturday, we don't have a teacher right now, but we will. So 6 days a week, and some of our teachers teach two teachers on one day. So tomorrow, Tuesday, is an example where we will have, who's teaching tomorrow? Carla. Carla teaches first thing in the morning about entrepreneurial mindset. And then Julia teaches a few hours later about starting your business, how to take the first steps of becoming an entrepreneur. So I'm actually going to go into the classroom right now and put all of the official times up in that pinned post. And at the top of that pinned post is also the live video we did New Year's Day with all of your mentor teachers and me from around the world. We have mentor teachers in Sweden, in the United States, in India, in Pakistan, in China. I'm talking to someone else in Asia. So there are people all around the world who are ready to help you. And because of where they are, they're broadcasting at different times. If you don't actually get to participate in a live lesson, you can always catch them on rebroadcast. And we will have, well, we already have Amy Carrier's Classroom YouTube channel where you can sign up and get access to all of the lessons. And if you really like what Julia is teaching, then you can see Julia's weekly lesson every single week. But for now, join amycarriersclassroom.com, and I am Amy Carrier, so you are welcome to follow me here on Facebook as well. And we also have Amy Carrier's Classroom page on Facebook, which is where 2 of our mentor teachers are broadcasting. So you have to like the page in order to get notice of when they're broadcasting. And that is because they're using broadcasting software that Facebook doesn't support, especially Leland Best, who broadcasts live on, I think, Thursdays. And he is teaching media broadcasting, but he can only do it on Amy Carrier's Classroom, the page. And I also have a page called Amy Lynn Carrier. That is my full name, Amy Lynn Carrier. And I invite you, I encourage you to like my page as well, because what I have been doing for the last 6 months building Amy Carrier's Classroom is turning into other resources and tools that I will be putting up for purchase. And when I offer those that they're new for purchase, or if I'm offering discounts, you can only get those on Amy Lynn Carrier's page, because we're not allowed to sell anything or give discounts for anything on our personal profiles on Facebook. Okay, so I hope that helps. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much. I learned so much by the questions you ask. So please, please, please become a member of the classroom and ask your questions. And on that note, I will say farewell. If your question did not get answered today, like I said, I could only scroll up so high. Go over to my classroom and ask the question there. There are lots of people who want to answer. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing 2018, and don't overwhelm yourself with those huge goals for 2018. What is your goal right now for today after you finish watching Amy's video? What is your goal today? Do that, and then do the next thing, and do the next thing, and learn how to love yourself. That is my best piece of advice for you. All right, everyone, on that note, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year.